Design Love podcast. Let's talk design, where I share tips, hacks, and information to help you design your life and your home your way. I am Denise Joy. I am an interior designer, a space curator, a 26-year college professor, and I'm the founder of Learning to Live Abroad, where I share my step-by-step journey to retire and live abroad, along with information for women who want to achieve their move abroad dreams. I am very excited about today's episode. This is part of my series that I'm closing out season 2 of Design Love podcast. And I'm focusing on designing every room in your home inside and out using the principles of Afro Bohemian Design Style. Okay. I want to wish a belated happy Mother's Day to everyone who mothers, whether you have born children yourself or you're like everybody's forever stepmother or, the community mom. Happy Mother's Day. I had a really lovely time of just being restful and meditative. I have, as I've mentioned on the podcast before, I have one son born to me, but I have hundreds of young people who call me mom or second mom as a result of being a 26-year college professor and running my children's theater workshop program for 22 years in the DMV area. So lots of mom energy comes my way, and I really, really appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Couple of things. Hit the subscribe button. You also want to hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss any of my always helpful videos and live stream episodes of the podcast. Drop in the comments, shout out, let me know where you are watching from. Building community is a big, significant part of what I do here on the podcast. If you have questions, share your experience, share your ideas, etc. So today I am teaching and showing examples, which I don't often do on the podcast, of how to use wallpaper to ground a room, particularly with the Afro Bohemian Design Style. Hello, everybody who's joining live. I really appreciate it. Now, this particular construct of this episode really came from a viewer of the podcast who left a comment. She said she loved the podcast, but she said she's very visual and she wanted to have like images pop up like as the things that I'm talking about. Now, of course, I do that when I drop an edited video because that's the purpose of an edited video. I can do all kind of crossfades and intercuts and all that kind of stuff. But with this live podcast where I have my wonderful design stylistas community who joins me live every Monday and Wednesday, I don't often have props. So I said, okay, all right, I'm from the theater. I'm going to do an episode heavy on props. So y'all bear with me. I created a little flow so I can kind of segue in between each item that I'm going to be sharing and talking about. So thank you to that subscriber who left that comment. You literally inspired me to say, all right, let me go for it. Let me do something a little bit different that I had not necessarily planned for. But that's always good, right? That's a good thing in our world, to have a flow, maybe even have a concept, have a point of execution, and then someone gives you some feedback and you're like, you know what? I should try something new. So here we go. We're going to go on the journey today. So if you want to take a very significant deep dive into the various characteristics of Afro Bohemian Design Style, I invite you to watch Design Love episode 19. That's where I break down everything about the Afro Bohemian Design Style. But I want to go over very briefly just a quick little snippet for those of you who haven't watched episode 19 or you're like just curious. What is Afro Bohemian Design Style? Well, Afro Boho Design Style blends. Hey, what's up? Good morning, Letitia. I appreciate you joining me as always. Afro Boho Design Style blends the free-spirited and eclectic nature of Bohemian design with elements of Afrocentric culture and heritage. It is characterized by both vibrant colors, bold colors, rich textures, and warm neutrals. Okay, you often will find organic materials, bold patterns, unique furniture pieces, and African art and traditions. And it has more of a laid back vibe, and it focuses on individuality and personal touches, and you get to blend vintage, handmade, and found items. Okay, so here in my set for my studio, you see the elements of Afro Bohemian design style, right? So this wall art here, some people think that that's wallpaper, but it's actually me hand painting. That's hand painted by me on this wall, inspired by African Kuba cloth material. And as well, the pillow here, right there with the geometric shapes on it, that's a linen pillow, the bold red colors, the organic materials there in the vase, etc. As well as, even I'm leaning on one of the pillows, but even the fabric that's on this chair. This is one of the chairs that I thrifted for $17 and then selected that material and had it reupholstered. So you have some of those characteristics alive and well right here in my studio. So when I work with Afro Bohemian design style, I like to elevate these 5 characteristics: artistry, craftsmanship, and individuality, honoring heritage, culture, and legacy, use of bold colors and then warm neutrals for balance, harmony created from combining the use of eclectic complementary pieces and blending modern, ethnic, and classic vintage furnishings and pieces. So this episode is really about using wallpaper to ground a space. Some people are really intimidated by wallpaper. In fact, total confession, I used to be intimidated by using wallpaper, so much so that's kind of how I started hand painting designs on walls, quite honestly, because I was just, it just seemed like so much. And I was very comfortable because I'm a visual artist. I was comfortable with a paintbrush and some paint. And I'm like, heck, in one of my, in fact, the first house that I purchased, I did a striped effect, hand painted. People always thought that it was wallpaper because it was so crisp, it was so pristine. But I got over it and I learned about wallpaper and I have never looked back. So why should you use wallpaper? Actually, let me ask you a question first. Do you have wallpaper in your home? Have you thought about adding wallpaper to your home? Any room in your home, have you given consideration to using wallpaper, right? Please let me know in the comment section and shout yourself out. I see you. Thanks everybody for joining me for this live episode. Shout yourself out in the comment section. I'd love to know who's joined us. So while you type in your comments, let me talk about why use wallpaper. There are 7 reasons why you should consider using wallpaper, okay? Number 1, wallpaper is durable. Today's modern wallpaper is very durable. You can create a new look around wallpaper, maybe every 5 or 10 years, or even fewer than that, if you like. Good wallpaper can ground a space and you can riff off of that wallpaper and even cross over into different design styles if that's what you're going for. Number 2, wallpaper is easy to clean. Most wallpaper is designated as scrubbable. Now that just means you don't have to worry about, stains and things like that. If you're using something like a grass cloth, you do have to use a little bit more precaution, but you can even lightly vacuum a grass cloth wallpaper because it is an organic material. Number 3, there are literally thousands, not hundreds, thousands of design options where you can play with color, texture, pattern, the whole 9, okay? Number 4, it's pretty economical when you think about the durability of a wallpaper. So, wallpaper, when it's applied correctly, can last anywhere from 10 to 20 years or maybe even more. Now, you might not want that same wallpaper look, but you never know. Number 5, wallpaper creates depth and detail. So you can increase the movement or rhythm quality in a room. Like even when you think about let's imagine that this was wallpaper. It has a lot of movement in it. It's oversized. The scale of it is oversized. And as you're watching it or looking at it, it has a sense of movement because of the pattern. And also that movement or rhythm comes with an emotional quality. So you can increase the emotional density in a room or the emotional texture, and it elevates a space. Number 6, wallpaper can work very well in unconventional spaces. For example, let's say you have maybe like an attic with odd angles and things like that, and you just want to do something that's fresh, funky, and that really uplifts the space. Wallpaper is a great solution for something like that. And number 7, today's modern wallpaper, because of how it's applied, it's easier to remove. Oh, awesome, Letitia. You use stick and peel wallpaper in living room and your dining room. Hey, all right, what's up? What's up, McCarter? Good morning. You're working and listening. All right, awesome. It's so good to have you in this space. I think, McCarter, you are a first-time commenter. So thank you so much for making a comment here on the live for Design Love today. So Letitia, I actually am going to do one of the wallpaper segments. Yes, peel and stick. I'm going to talk about peel and stick. I'm so excited. Oh, I love this. I love it when the synchronicity and the vibing shows up. So we're going to focus on using wallpaper to ground your room design and then build your look or your story for your room off of that wallpaper component. All right. So I believe in naming looks for a room, even when I'm in the design, conceptualizing phase, because I believe naming gives an identity. You start to anchor around story and emotion and how things are going to feel and how the room is going to communicate. So you guys feel free to start naming your looks and naming your rooms as well. So we're going to look at 3 different wallpapers, and then again, I'm using some props. I'm going to pair a couple of different items with them with the idea of building out a different kind of story or different kind of a vibe for the rooms that we would imagine these items to go in. And we're going to focus on the motifs of pattern, texture, color, and emotion. All right, so put my little note cards over here so I can have my hands free. So we are going to focus on grass cloth wallpaper first. All right. Have anyone ever hung grass cloth wallpaper in their home? Drop in the comments, let me know. Grass cloth is like really my favorite wallpaper to work with, although I've worked with others. This particular wallpaper, never. Okay, McCarter. So I'm gonna try to get this close so you can kind of see the texture here. Grass cloth wallpaper is organic. So it's made out of fibers, and it's really viewed like a textile based wallpaper, and you can kind of see the variation of color. This is called smoked charcoal. That's the name of this wallpaper, smoked charcoal. Okay, this is a whole row, in fact, that I have. I had envisioned to do a second bathroom in this home, and I love this wallpaper so much, so I bought this roll because I thought it might not be available anymore, and I haven't gotten to doing the second bathroom, so I still have this entire roll. And for what I want to do, I have the plans for the bathroom and everything. I know this is enough, but nonetheless, this is a smoked charcoal. But you see it has some of those warm neutrals built in there. It has some of those lighter toned light browns and even a little bit of kind of like a reddish brown in there. So you could really pull from this wallpaper other colors. So let's pull this basket. A basket is a common Afro Bohemian design style decor item. This basket, I pulled this basket out just to show you all how the color tones in this basket marry and work well with this particular wallpaper color. Now I'm going to turn this basket around. Let's say you had this wallpaper up and you hung this basket in among other baskets on a wall together. It would work very well with this. Let's look at also a wood item. This particular wood item is a piece of not hickory. Oh goodness, what's that wood? It's not mahogany. But anyway, this particular wood item would work very well with this type of a wallpaper because again, it brings out some of that reddish brown tone in this grass cloth wallpaper. Again, this happens to be a piece of decor, but this could be a table, right? The top of a table. You could even have your floors stained in this kind of a color tone to work well with this. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Hey, TM. What's up, sis? Yes. A peel and stick is so fun to work with. Here's another decor item. Again, these are just small pieces that I pulled out for the colors. So this piece right here, you see how this is actually a 1970s vintage, gosh, it's, well, you could do many things with this. You could make this into a jewelry holder. You could serve food in this. And there's also a second part to this, but I pulled it out of my stock to pull these